What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Titus, and today we need to have a bit of a conversation. So I've decided moving forward that I'm probably no longer going to be covering gacha, like any kind of gacha content on this channel. I think the reason is because when I think about my kind of mindset with gacha games is it's always been a very fair weather kind of indulgence for me, if you will. There's a lot of people, and I started to realize this with my content and just in general with, you know, the things that that I was doing that, you know, okay. I was having a conversation with Nepo about, I just wasn't feeling the content on my channel. I didn't think I was doing a very good job. I thought a lot of it was kind of phoned in. You know, there's a lot of sort of hard edges for me to try and smooth out when it came to the fact that, you know, obviously when it comes to like a lot of the gacha content, I'm no expert. You know, a lot of this content is centered around doing, you know, guides and showcases and stuff like that. And I realized that my content wasn't up to, I guess, kind of the standard that I wanted it to be up to. And I realized that a major part of that was because I didn't have the passion for it. Now that might sound kind of dumb to some people, but you know, for me, YouTube is definitely a passion project. And you know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's really hard for me to put out videos that I don't feel hit a certain mark. Right. And covering topics that I really just stopped caring about a while ago. You know, Element Fission was fun and I still have fun with it from time to time, but it's one of those things where, you know, a lot of gacha games require a lot of background grinding. They require a lot of, you know, time and effort in, and I just don't feel like I personally want to put in that kind of time and effort. And some people may say, well, that, you know, dude, it's an auto battler, but it's more than that, right? You know, for instance, yesterday I was working really hard on getting a video together that I wanted to do, like a showcase of kinds, right? It was going to be like my first take on a showcase. And I needed some more gear, so I was grinding the dungeons. I had popped a bunch of batteries. I was, you know, dialed in, and then, you know, life stuff came up, and next thing you know, I didn't touch it again for 6 hours, right? And I realized that night, you know, last night, that's kind of what it, you know, that never would have happened in the beginning, right? That never would have happened when I first was doing Element Fission content. When I first made the channel and was doing raid content, you know, when I first started my raid content, I was super excited. I was all in, and I was, you know, at the time I was playing like 3 accounts at the same time. You know what I mean? It was, yeah, my heart was definitely more in it than it is now. And I think that I just, you know, I realized this actually since I've been streaming Oblivion, is that I love gaming. I'm very passionate about gaming, but I'm not super passionate about any one particular game. I'm not super passionate about any one thing, right? It's just kind of gaming in general. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, to let you guys, the subscribers, and anybody who may be trickling in on this video, to let you guys know what to expect, right? I understand that maybe it seems a little presumptuous of me to make a video when I only have, like 230 subscribers. But for me, it's important to have that level of transparency where a lot of you guys came in and you signed up for the Summoner's War content. You signed up for the Element Fission content. That's why you're here. You know what I mean? You want that content. Maybe I'm just one of the more entertaining people you found that's covering that, right? And so for me, I think it's one of those things where I want to let everybody know up front, one thing I really hate is dancing around a topic, right? And you see it a lot of times with YouTubers, with streamers and stuff. You'll have people, oh, when are you going to do this content again? Because that's the content that they're really looking forward to. And the person, replies, well, maybe, check back with me in a week or a month. And, maybe I'll go back to that. And the answer is that they never will, right? Because they're just not feeling passionate about it. And I think especially when it comes to YouTube streaming, any making videos, all that stuff, right? There's a level of you have to be in the project in order to, in order to entertain people, you have to satisfy yourself first with what you're doing, right? Because at the end of the day, this is all entertainment. That it is what it is, right? So for me, moving forward with the channel, I want to do just more general gaming things. I want to cover the newest releases, you know what I mean? I want to cover news and stuff like that where, I had a video that I really wanted to do when it was relevant, when the Nintendo Switch 2 came out. And of course I had I wanted to dogpile my opinion because when I saw the release video and all that stuff, I felt some kind of way and I really wanted to talk about it. But I kind of thought to myself, well, even if I do different gacha games on the channel, technically I'm still kind of doing gacha stuff, and that's way kind of left field. You know what I mean? That's way kind of out there where people may not want to see that video because there's not really a precedent I've set for that, right? And so that's basically what this is I just kind of want to set expectations for you guys that, this is kind of what you can expect. So I've really been enjoying streaming, loving streaming. Actually, it's a lot of fun, and realistically, it's not as much work as a YouTube video. I know it may not seem like it, and in a lot of ways, not really. But sitting down, recording a YouTube video, mixing it, maybe doing a couple little meme edits that I like to do. That is so much more of an involved process than I just boot up a game, turn on the stream, and I just kind of kick it with you guys. You know what I mean? It almost kind of feels like in some ways streaming is like my day off activity, where I'm not thinking about what am I going to cover in my next video. I'm not kind of scripting out some of the edits and stuff like that, for funny memes and all that stuff. I much prefer doing that when I'm feeling it, but streaming is a ton of fun. I still want to do the anime channel, and that was another thing, right, where I'm sitting here making a script for the anime channel, and in a way I almost feel guilty, right? Because I have my main channel. I've kind of sold this idea to people that this is what I'm going to be doing. And so every time I was working on the anime script, I'd feel kind of guilty because it felt like I was taking time away. I haven't uploaded on the main channel. I said I'd be uploading every day, not uploading every day, and when I'm trying to make a content for like an anime thing, I just felt kind of guilty because it felt like I was taken away from what I kind of said was my main shtick, I guess. And at the end of the day, there are people who say, hey man, I can hear Jeremy's voice, hey man, this is your thing, make what you want to make. But at the same time, I also feel like there's a give and take between creators and viewers, right? I make the content you want to watch. And when you subscribe to me, or, you know, take the time out of your day to leave a lot, even something as simple as a like or a comment or something like that, you know what I mean? I feel like there's a sort of give and take there, you know what I mean? And so, of course, at the end of the day, I'm absolutely going to do what I want to do. Because realistically, I could try and force myself to make gacha content, but eventually I'd probably just burn out and quit because, you know, I'm just not feeling it. Right. And so, generally speaking, moving forward, I'm just going to do more general content. There's a couple ideas I have for series. I want to move towards more series based stuff, because one problem I've always had is it's very hard for me to get all in on something and stay all in. Like the people who do, for instance, thinking back on even when I first started my channel, and even before then, when I, you know, even before that with YouTubers I'd watch, you know, I look at creators who have been covering Raid Shadow Legends for the whole 6 years that it's been up, and doing it every single day, every day for 6 years. I don't know how. I really, truthfully, for me, don't even know how people stay that dedicated to a single thing that long. You know what I mean? When it comes to like gaming and stuff like that, right? I mean, obviously there's certain, you know, I don't know how people stay dedicated to raising children for 18 years. I mean, that I can kind of understand, but when it comes to just playing a game or doing YouTube stuff, or just trying to entertain in general, I don't understand. For me, my brain can't even process how you could stay dedicated just to one single thing. Not the art of content creation. I can understand that. I mean, for me right now, my biggest push is I would love to turn YouTube into a career, right? I think deep down, that's why a lot of us do YouTube, is because if we can turn this into a career that at least lets us live comfortably, right? You know, allows us to pay our bills and buy groceries. I think a lot of people are totally down for that, right? And that's kind of what I want to do someday. Obviously, you know, no delusions of grandeur. I'm not expecting it to happen, you know, immediately or even in some time frame, but you know, that's kind of the goal, right? That's the dream, is to be able to do this as a career. And so even with careers, I don't understand how people, you know, the people who are like at a job and they've been there for like 50 years, they're all crotchety and just upset all the time. It's like, man, I don't know. After about 2 or 3 years, I'm looking for something else. I'm looking for another challenge to overcome. I'm looking for something, right? And for me, that's how I was starting to feel with gacha gaming. Like I said, and making a video like this, I completely understand, may seem a little presumptuous for someone who's only had their channel for a couple months and has only been, you know, making a little bit of a buzz for a couple weeks. But like I said, I would rather be more transparent and just let you guys know off rip, this is what you can expect moving forward, rather than, you know, dancing around the subject, or do a Summoners War video every week or every 2 weeks, you know, kind of drip fed, trickle this in as like an obligation, you know, because I don't want to lose subscribers or whatever. And that's the thing. If you're watching this, you're one of my subscribers and you unsubscribe, I mean, I get it, man. I do. Because if you just came here strictly for the Element Fission and you came here strictly for the Summoners War, I mean, I can tell you right now, don't expect it, right? Just don't. I mean, probably not going to be doing it much moving forward. What you can expect moving forward is I do want to cover, there's a couple things. One, huge inspiration for me on the come up for YouTube and even nowadays was a guy named Total Biscuit. He used to do, you know, the WTF series where he would take new games. Sometimes they'd be indie games, sometimes they'd be mainstream games, and basically he would do game reviews. I myself would love to do something like that, maybe more I'm thinking about a series where it's more centered around free to play games, indie games. Generally, the kind of mindset I have is that it seems like the gaming industry is losing its goddamn mind. You know, every week I look at my phone and I realize that, oh, there's another AAA developer who's like, hey, our base game, you know, it's just these costs have gotten so high, it's time to charge you guys $130. It's like, you know what I mean? And so, but the beautiful thing about gaming is that there's a lot of games out there that don't get the clout, don't get the hype, that are, you know, wonderful games, and they're like $10, $5. You know what I mean? So I would love to be able to cover games like that. And of course, also cover, you know, mainstream games that everybody has the buzz about, you know. I would also like to do, probably planning on doing a series. And the thing is that we're definitely gonna be moving away from daily uploads. That's definitely the thing. We're probably gonna be moving away, less daily uploads and more like 3 uploads a week on the main channel, or 4 uploads a week on the main channel, but a much higher quality of editing and kind of aiming for doing a higher production quality, right? We're definitely we want to do more quality over quantity. And to be fair, quantity has a quality of its own, but you know, that's what we're looking forward to. So I would love to do a series like that, and then do like a news series where, you know, we talk about gaming news for the week. You know, Nintendo said this, Xbox did that, you know, PC. I'm pretty much predominantly a PC player, but I mean, you know, when it comes to news, you can talk about whatever, right? So yeah. And then, you know, working from there, maybe doing some other stuff, and then streaming also, right? And we've pretty much got down the stream schedule. I really want to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mostly because those are really open days for me. And then because those are the high times where you guys are more available to come out and watch. So, you know, like I said, I don't know, this whole video, I didn't really even have any talking points, just kind of wanted to riff off the top and just kind of let you guys know. Like I said, if you're watching this and you're like, well, it was a good run, see you later, Titus. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in for the time that you did. And if you're down to see where the channel goes moving in the future, I really appreciate that too. Like I said, I know a lot of people say it, and I'm not saying that they don't mean it too, but you know, you hear it all the time and it starts to lose value sometimes. But I really do genuinely appreciate everybody who watches my videos, comments, subscribes, all that stuff. I really do appreciate that stuff, guys, because, you know, I'm just gonna say it. A lot of the reason why most of us make content is because at some point, somewhere deep down, we really, really do love the validation. We do. You know, we love making a thing, presenting it to people, and then having it, you know, people show love to it. That's you know, that's why a lot of us do this stuff. You know what I mean? So for everybody who comes out and does that, I really do appreciate you guys, because it motivates me, and it makes me feel good. And it, you know, when I'm having a moment where it's getting tough to get out of bed, you know, I see, you know, couple dozen likes, couple comments, you know, people showing love. I see the subscriber count go up, and I say, you know what? Get out of bed, Titus. Get out of bed and do this thing, because, you know, for yourself and, you know, for people like that who are showing you that they see the vision, you know? So anyway, guys, kind of awkward here at the end when you don't have you just kind of been rambling. Like I said, I'm a PhD in yapology with a minor in yaponomics, so I could talk nonstop all day, but I'm not gonna do that. This video is already getting kind of long for no reason really, but you know, I appreciate you guys coming out. And you know, the beautiful thing is too, is if you guys have ideas for games that you want to see covered, you know, like especially when it comes to, you know, showcasing games to other people. If you have a niche game that you think can stand up there and be something, you know, I'll take suggestions. I might not go with your suggestion, I will say that. I can't promise that if you leave a comment suggesting something that I'm going to be like, oh, I have to do that. Mostly because then I'd have to do it for everybody, right? But I take everything into consideration. I really do. So I read every single comment, and that's a nice part about being a much smaller channel is I actually have the time. I mean, if there was 1,000 comments, I probably wouldn't be able to read all of them. But you know, I read all the comments. I take everything you guys say into consideration. So anyway, that's been it for me, guys. You know, I hope you stay subscribed. I hope if you're watching this video for this is the first video of mine that you found. If you like the idea of the vision moving forward, you know, like and subscribe, all that fancy YouTube stuff. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will read them. I do see them. So I appreciate you guys. That's been all for me. Until next time, I'll see you.